This microphone isn't plugged into anything. I've always enjoyed playing musical instruments. I found that playing them not only is a great means of stress relief for me, but also a fantastic joy bringer. I've just always enjoyed noodling around with any instrument that I found, whether it's keyboard, xylophone, tin whistle, etc. And as someone who has always enjoyed playing instruments but never really sought to gain anything beyond my skill, I wondered how other people perceive the act of music making, knowing that most everyone has a background in music via compulsory education, via primary and secondary school. I wondered how they view making music, if they feel the same way that I do, or whether their music making experiences are somewhat tarnished and not as positive. So this led to the creation of my probe, in which I asked people to play a stylophone, a simple electronic keyboard sort of thing. I asked them to just, noodle around with it, and everyone responded very positively to it. They were laughing away, trying to figure out little songs to make themselves. And yeah, from the video that I made to go along with it, you could see that people were enjoying it, they were laughing, they were having a good time. But the verbal responses that I received from the probe seemed to indicate that not many people continue to play musical instruments, and that was primarily due to either time, money, or facility. So, how do we get the general public back into music making who don't have the time, money, or facility? That's what Offbeat does. This is Offbeat. I'm very precariously hanging up this sign. So Offbeat is an initiative aimed to reignite the general public's interest in music making and squash any stigmas or preconceptions that might prevent them from doing so. This would be done through highlighting the more obscure side of the musical world through outsider musicians and the opportunities for the general public to make their own musical instrument. Will people engage with their own made musical instruments? Yeah. To see if this was a feasible idea, I ran a workshop giving people a bunch of junk, cardboard, jars, rubber bands, etc. and just letting them loose, seeing what they can come up with, making their own junk instruments. At the end of which they performed a beautiful rendition of a-ha's Take On Me. Everyone really enjoyed it. Everyone was smiling, laughing, socialising. People came up to me afterwards and expressed how much that they enjoyed, just noodling around and working in a sort of social environment with music, which was fantastic. And it reaffirmed to me that partaking in such workshops proved a more than effective means to enjoy making music again, all the while creating a social environment which helped break down any confidence barriers regarding performance. It showed that people were at least comfortable enough to perform in an ensemble, which is fantastic because at the very end of that, you get a song that you can listen to. Isn't that great? So what does Offbeat do? Offbeat primarily focuses on 3 key outputs. These are a series of poster zines, the holding of workshops, and the distribution of music. So the first facet is a collection of biographical zines. Each zine covers an outsider musician or artists that take unconventional means into the music industry, as well as a handwritten bio and showcases of their music. Every issue has a poster inside with a style inspired by the DIY efforts of such musicians, because many of whom design, illustrate the covers of their own mixtapes and CDs and give them out to the general public. It is the hope that in highlighting the sort of sincere charm of these outsider musicians, that it inspires readers that they too can make a name for themselves with just the equipment that they have in their own home. The second facet is the running of free entry workshops, in which people are given just a bunch of junk that they are asked to make into their own instrument, and at the end of which they perform a song with. Not only would these workshops help ease the stigma of performance head on through playing in groups, they would also help to prove that you don't need to spend a lot of money in order to have your own musical instrument. The final facet is the distribution of made music from the aforementioned workshop. The workshop performances would be recorded with the participants' consent, of course, and then distributed both digitally and physically as a cassette. Not only will they be sold for the general public to enjoy, but it also allows for participants to have a tangible creation that they themselves have had a part in creating and to be proud of, and to be like, hey, look, I made this, I was a part of this. How cool is that? These recordings would of course be distributed digitally and for free as a means to ensure that money need not be a limitation when it comes to enjoying music. So where can this project go? What can Offbeat do beyond what I have done? The most obvious thing is the continued creation of the zines, highlighting each and every notable figure in the world of outsider music. Getting these into retail, preferably through independent music stores, would help broaden the reach of these outsider musicians, whilst also keeping it away from more conventional mass market retailers like HMV or Fob, to once again parallel this sort of journey of outsider musicians taking unconventional routes into the musical world. The workshops themselves will most definitely need to be refined. I myself only ran 2 workshops, but gained invaluable knowledge from them, like the appropriate time allocation for certain activities, to what equipment you'd need to run them efficiently, and all of this would help to streamline the process to its most effective state. In an ideal world, the workshops would run for free and they would get their funding through the distribution of the poster zines. The workshops can be ran in any capacity. I've gone out and ran like in-location workshops, you know, come to this place at this time and we'll make some musical instruments. I've also gone out with a sandwich board and asked the general public to make their own musical instruments and record a little bit of a song, which would then be mashed together into one big song. But there's so much that you could do with these workshops. There could be live fringe performances. You could get people to come up on stage. Maybe they're given a minute to make their own musical instrument and then they have to play. Or it could be an all digital thing, wherein, you know, participants just send in a little clip of themselves playing a musical instrument and then they're smashed together into their own song. I think the scope for these workshops is very broad, and I don't think I could name all the ways here in this video because I'd be here for days. Offbeat has the potential to become its very own music label, I think, releasing all the songs created by participants of its workshops. As the premise for these workshops is very simple. They could be ran by anyone across the world. It doesn't need to be me. Helping expose everyone to the simple joy that is music making, and eventually cultivating a vast catalogue of songs made by the general public for the general public. These cassettes, the distribution of these cassettes would hopefully gain enough profit to be able to continue to release new offbeat music made through those continued workshops. In terms of my feedback, most of my feedback has been primarily through the workshops that have been run. Everyone who has come along has spoken about how much they really enjoyed them. Many saw it as a good social tool and found it a good way to meet new people and be comfortable in a shared activity that they're both new to. The zines have also garnered very positive feedback, particularly through the collaboration with article writers. If these were to continue, it might be more beneficial to have other people come in and write the outsider musician articles, which would help foster a greater sense of community through the shared love of these musicians. This is the cringe bit now. I'm very proud of this project. Not only has it allowed me to design for something I love, but has afforded me the opportunity to be far broader in my artistic output, whether that be through gaining the confidence to head workshops, to producing songs from the general public's recordings. I've had so much fun with it, and I'm so happy of what I've done. I'd very much like to keep this project going, but if I don't, I'm more than happy with what's already come of it. Yeah, rock over London, rock on Chicago. That was cringe as hell.